Hey guys, welcome to Adapted, episode 83. My name is Tristan, and joining me this week, we've got Jason, Chad, and Sweener. How you guys doing?
Great.
Good. Excited to be here, Tristan.
Yeah, we're going to take the show in a little bit of a different path, so we don't have 5 shows to talk about. So, more of us just kind of sharing our thoughts on what's going on right now in the comic book world, of whether it's TV shows, movies, or comic books in general. But we do have one more show that we still have been going on with, and that, of course, is Preacher. And I don't know about you guys, but I thought this episode got real good. Like, this was
Can you say this is the best episode ever?
Yeah.
Easily.
Dude.
It's easily their best episode.
That
There's no
opening
question.
sequence, hands down, dude. I was glued to the TV, dude.
Dude,
Usually I'm kind of just like, eh. That was so
Could they-
cool.
Could they please just give us the first 12 minutes of every episode for like the entire episode? Because that was fucking awesome.
I actually paused it at a certain point, and I was like, okay, how many minutes have gone on for like this awesome opening scene? I was like, oh yeah, 12 minutes, okay.
Yeah,
That's
me
12
too.
minutes in
the-
TV in a while.
The title card came so late. Like, it was like,
Right.
what is going on with this episode? Oh, it was insane.
Yeah, this was just like fantastic. We learned a lot, right, in that first 12 minutes, probably more than the other 30 whatever minutes.
Yeah, the whole time I was like, who is this weird gymnast soccer mom, and why is she like walking around this diner, and like what the hell is going on?
When they started pummeling her in the parking lot, I was like, what?
Yeah,
the
when he
hell?
threw that
Yeah.
kick right to her when she's laying down, I was like, oh shit, dude, what is that all about?
And then they finally reveal it, not everything, but they give us a big part of information in this one, more than they have, as you said, thus far. And this is already the 6th episode of the season.
So yeah, it's about time that they start laying out what the heck is actually going on in this damn
Yeah,
thing.
it's like everything's been kind of like juggled up in the air, dude. And you're like, really, like, how the fuck does this mumble jumble of everything kind of mesh together? And now it kind of feels like they're all forming nicely for us.
So you guys you good with how they explain it with angels and demons creating some mysterious thing that should have never been
Genesis?
Genesis.
The band?
I love Cassidy. Cassidy constantly says, "Oh, that's just a terrible name, Genesis." Because it's kind of not. You would think it'd be a little bit better of a name, but yeah, I'm digging how like the explanation of everything that's going on and this weird abomination that was created after an angel and a demon decided to break all the rules and
wanna meet
they were
those
in
two
love
guys.
actually, which is even crazier.
I'm sure they'll show us who those guys are, but yeah, dude, it's crazy, like, finding out, like, you know, what's inside, who these dudes are, and, like, them just dying constantly and, like, respawning,
Dude,
and then dude just
when they
laying there.
finally had her subdued,
Yeah.
and they like had her all tied around, and then Cassidy comes in and fucking shoots her, and they're like, ah.
I didn't know if there was a different director involved in this episode, and it had the same look of previous episodes, but I feel like this episode was just like the overall look of everything was very, I don't know, I want to say perfect. Like it had a very specific
It
look
was
about
very
it.
like Robert Rodriguez. It was like
really
very
enjoyed it.
gimmicky,
Yeah, it was totally.
Like,
which was cool. Which I thought was awesome. Like when they panned through that shotgun hole and and like there was light shooting out. Like all you could see was the light of them respawning. That was just like such a really cool thing.
and
Yeah,
having
like, I totally thought it was a Rodriguez thing too, and I don't know if it was like before I watched it. I watched that show Ride with Norman Reedus, where he's just cruising around on the motorcycles.
I
And
have
this-
to ask something about that show. Like, give me something about that show.
Dude, it's awesome. So essentially, what it is, it's Norman Reedus just cruising around Pacific Coast Highway. He was at the Twisted Sister in Texas, and dude, you love Daryl / Norman because you find out they really are one and the same. And dude, he really is just like a cool, down to earth guy, man. They just ride motorcycles. He's got a bunch of his friends. They go and they meet all these motorcycles. But it's like all these people come up to him, and he's always super nice to them, always takes photographs with them, you know, always spends all his time. And you can see, like, it kind of feels like the people that are with him get kind of annoyed with it. But great show.
So it's just like a documentary of like his
Yeah,
life.
it's essentially, I think, if you've ever watched, like, Anthony Bourdain, the foodie guy who
Yeah.
travels around. Now he's on CNN or whatever. I think it's a lot like that. It's like his life motto, and then just like having a good time and meeting a bunch of people with a lot of really good-looking women.
It's amazing they created this show. It's like a star of a hit cable TV series. Like, yeah, let's give him his own show just to showcase like what he does.
Yeah, it's 6
not
episodes,
acting.
and they think he's probably gonna get picked up for another season.
I want to see Sweeney.
And a lot of it is like
Me
they
too.
do
Sidecar.
incorporate a lot of The Walking Dead and all that stuff into it too. So it's pretty cool, man.
Huh.
He makes me want to buy a motorcycle, man. I went online at Craigslist.
You've already wanted to buy a motorcycle for like
I
the
know,
last
but
2
you
years.
really
It's an ongoing theme.
Yeah, dude.
Do it, man. Just do it.
Bite the.
We'll
fucking
document your life if you get one.
So day 2, Chad's completely crashed the motorcycle, and he's done with that.
Best effort.
Going back to Preacher, and a big chunk of this beginning focused obviously a lot on DeBlanc and Fior, the angels from heaven that came down without permission to recapture Genesis, since they let it. They don't even know how it escaped in the first
Yeah,
place.
it's like they're like, we're just the caretakers. It's like they don't really know a lot about it, but
Oh, they were like watching, like janitors, dude. It was like watching over it, cleaning the place up, maintaining
Yeah,
it, like hanging out. And they're just like, oh shit, it escaped. They're kind of like the buffoons almost, dude.
They
Yeah,
are,
there's a
totally.
cool comedy. Yeah.
and especially after like that whole opening series, dude, you could totally tell they're like Laurel and Hardy style, dude.
Let's see what else. And Tulip had a big story arc in this one.
Oh, dude, Tulip.
I was getting a little annoyed by her, to be honest.
She's the
Yeah,
worst part
you
of
know
the show.
what? Let's hand it to Cassidy. What a wide acting range he has, dude. Like when he was hid behind the door to find out that she was his Tulip. He was so
Poor guy.
heartbroken, dude. I felt so bad for Cassidy, dude. When he came in there, thinking he was gonna get a little nookie in the broom closet, only to find out it's not to be.
Yeah, dude, she's already on someone else's arm.
Yeah, like in the whole interaction between her and the mom, I can't remember.
Emily, I think it's Emily.
Emily, yeah, you're right, Emily. That whole thing was just like weird, you know. It was like,
Yeah, at first it was like, okay, I understand why Tulip is jealous of her, and this Emily is kind of just clueless of everything going on right now. And then they just like hit it off real quick just because Tulip rebuilds the ashtray that
and I was like, on top of it all, there's like no little shards, right? It just broke clean in all big clean chunks.
Snapped, dude. It just snapped.
She's good at putting stuff together, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, out of this episode, dude, that was probably the low part of like just her and then and the mom in the house and stuff, and then she's delivering stuff. She added a little value, dude. The thing I'm curious about, maybe you guys have some insight too, is Arseface's whole story arc here. What's going on with these kids
How
and
does
him?
everybody like him do it?
I feel like they're setting him up. Did it not look
I
like
kept thinking they were setting him up.
blow
That's
him
the
up
thing.
or something?
I think it was like showing that he had this like brief moment of like redemption, and then
Yeah.
they sent him to hell. Like everybody like liked him. Like these kids were like they accepted him.
They
got to
came
see
off
this cool,
really
And it
amazing
was all
things.
from that mom from last week. That
Yeah,
Yeah, like that she liked him and she was cool with him and all
Jessica
that
told her
stuff.
to.
yeah.
I know,
so,
but it kept like coming off like they were shady.
oh
dude.
no, it felt like they were gonna take him down there and like
Yeah,
Make
like
him
when
do
they were
something
shooting the
bad.
fireworks down in that drainage tunnel, I'm like, this guy's dead. He's dead.
Yeah,
yeah. No, it didn't look like it was gonna be good for him. But I think that
I
was
thought
just
they were
a
gonna have him lay down and like put fireworks in his mouth.
They kind of should have. He would have been able
Probably
to hold him
candles,
perfectly.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
suspicious
Sweeney
of the
could have got
whole
them all
thing.
right in there.
I was suspicious of the thing the entire time, but then they were trying to make it out that like, okay, things are changing for Eugene Arspace, and it's changing so much that he's not even feeling comfortable with it, and that's when he goes to Jesse, and
Jesse makes things right.
yeah,
Oh, dude, how awesome. Well, okay, a couple things that we're glossing over. The mayor.
yeah, I was gonna
What
touch
the
on that.
fuck, dude?
I liked
never
when he
returned-
was trying to figure out what pair of khakis to wear.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome, dude. That was like so Gap commercial. The other thing is, who put those bodies on the side of the freeway? Him or
Oh, the old guy had to, right? Like his crew.
Yeah, I'm assuming Kilcannon's goons. did
Yeah,
it
him and
for
his crew definitely set that up. Which they did a really good job of it. Put that
Yeah.
Carter and burn that motherfucker.
But yeah, and then when Preacher was out there putting up the PA system, but you just saw him hanging something, and Cassidy's down there like, hey, I'm always up for a good fight and all this, but he's like, I know a really bad idea when a bad idea comes around. And he's like, this is a pretty bad idea, man. So even Cassidy's like, dude, you need to get on the program, man. It's time to give that thing back. And when they were sitting there like talking and their skivvies, dude, that was pretty funny too. So that's when Cassidy, I think, realized that Preacher's lost it, man.
Yeah, you've seen Jesse kind of get cockier and cockier each episode, and now he's starting to understand what's inside him that has his power. And I think part of that, the Genesis thing, might be in some ways controlling him to a degree. I don't know exactly, because we don't have a huge backstory on Jesse and what kind of guy he is, besides him being now a preacher. But I think he might be going back to what's his name's DeBlanc and Fjord next week, maybe, to get some answers, maybe more about Genesis, after I'm assuming he's gonna feel really guilty about Eugene and try and like
yeah, and also we saw in the preview, like, he denies having seen Eugene.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Emily knows that she sent Eugene in there to talk to him.
Well,
Definitely,
Eugene's sneaky as is, so he could have just went out the back door. I wouldn't believe anything that kid says.
What? He's a likable guy.
No, he's a
I bet
creep.
those kids are gonna get in
He's a
trouble for
shithead.
it. Those kids that he was hanging out with would be like, "There's those kids that did something."
Oh yeah,
dude, the
Preacher's
kids are gonna
totally
get in
gonna set
trouble.
him up. Yeah.
Is Preacher just gonna grow to be just this unlikable character that
Probably.
has this? Yeah.
I don't know, because I think the thing that was appealing about him was that he was such a likable kind of guy, you know?
Yeah, but I kind of like the douchey part of him.
And I think the switch will flip, dude. I think it'll be they'll be like making him look evil, and then he'll become a good guy like in a couple episodes. Like you gotta build it up and knock it down, make him like not know his powers, and start having him do some crazy shit,
True.
like taking Arseface into the unknown and leaving behind just a scrap. That's also crazy too, because the extent of his power has really only been like mind control. Now it's all of a sudden teleportation. Like now, dude, how far does this power
Well, yeah,
go?
whatever he says happens to the guy. Like, it's crazy. Like, on what he could possibly do. Like we were
'Cause I
talking
guess,
a little
like,
bit,
if he says
comparing
someone-
him to the Purple Man of Jessica Jones, and like I was thinking the same thing. Like, is that his only ability of just like mind control in some ways, or just like whatever he says, person does or happens to the person, whether
I was
they-
just gonna say that, like, because like technically, if he's like go to hell, the guy should have been just like falling face first on the ground, like banging his head into like the ground, trying to get into hell instead of like teleporting. It's not like he tells someone to shut up and their lips disappear, or like like they get sewn up. So it's kind of crazy to see like that, and now like what they can do now that they introduce that. They can
Yeah.
probably go anywhere with his abilities now.
I just think how crazy it could get.
Oh, hopefully it
It's
gets a
gonna
little
get
crazy.
nuts.
He's out of control, dude. How do you stop an angel? That's my next question, dude. But we can move on.
Silver bullet.
He got a werewolf.
Werewolves.
Same thing.
Are these angels going to
Garlic?
sprout wings ever? you think?
No.
No?
Well, maybe. I don't know. I think no.
That's just not their style.
Yeah. Maybe there's like special angels with wings, like angel bosses or something.
They're probably cloaked, like they're hidden. It's not like they look like this up there. I don't think they're adapting.
Well, the wanted poster for those guys, they look the same. Which I was curious if they were in a disguise on Earth or how that happens.
Yeah.
We'll probably find out before the season's up.
Dun, 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 dun.
I am liking this show a lot, though. What score are you guys giving this episode?
I'm gonna give it a 4. That was really cool. Really cool. I didn't like the tulip stuff though at all, so that kind of was like a buzzkill. But otherwise, I thought it was probably the best episode of the season so far.
Yeah, dude. I think 45-minute show. 15 minutes of it was just kind of boring to me, but I'll probably go with. I want to give it a 5, but I don't know enough about the show yet to give it a 5. But it was a good episode. Is it worth a 5? I'm gonna give it a 4. God damn, that opening scene was a 5 though. I'm
That
gonna
opening scene, yeah.
give it
Just go with your heart, man.
Whatever your heart desires.
I give it a 5, dude. I was glued to it.
Boom.
Good choice,
from
my
Chad.
friend. I'm giving it 5. I'm giving it 5 Cassidys, man.
Oh, I forgot about that. Dude.
This was a great-
5 tulips on the shoulder, dude.
This was a great episode, man. both the last 2 weeks, the opening 12 minutes have been fantastic. Plus, Cassidy just doesn't stop entertaining with his one
You should
line.
have a spin-off.
It'll be interesting to see if Jesse wakes up and finally realizes that Emily's like in love with him. And I'm kind of curious to figure out how the mayor is going to weasel his way out of this.
Dude, I was just gonna say on the Cassidy gimmick, dude. I said he could have his own show, but I don't think so. I actually think he's good in small doses because he just comes out when you need it.
Yeah, he comes out, hits like the home run, the little.
Dude, when he's in his like little Chinaman hat, dude, and it's like rubber gloves and all that stuff, dude. It was pretty.
All right, I'm at a 5 for this week's episode. One thing I noticed as throughout this episode was like the acting performance of the actor that plays Eugene Arspace. Really solid job, and just like the emotions he portrays, and I know.
Actually, yeah, he did make me feel sad for him.
Yeah, did a good job, and like we talked about those first 12 minutes. Like there was actually a point in this episode I was like, I moved up on the couch and I was at the edge of my seat to like watch this show. Like it did its job in getting me engaged, and really liked it. So I'm on board with Preacher.
This show continues to surprise me.
Yeah, and hopefully with now in the summer, I don't know how high the ratings could possibly be, but hopefully in people's downtime, they can be like, yeah, I hear good things about Preacher and jump on board. They're already renewed for a second season, so they're not really in trouble, but hopefully more people appreciate it as much as we do.
Yeah, hopefully.